Hi everyone. So, I wanted to give you guys an update, and also, first of all, I just wanted to say hi and hope that you're doing well during these times of the pandemic, and that things are well. Um, so, um, although I'm not really, uh, I'm not. I don't know all of the YouTube features, so I don't know how to do certain things. But so basically, I do have other videos. Just wanted to say thank you first of all for watching this video, and that I do have other videos on YouTube, and it is under Rucker Family Journey to Baby. So Rucker Family Journey to Baby. I have a whole slew of videos leading up to this point in our journey. Um, you will get to see some pictures soon enough with me and my fiance. I will post them later on when we have some really good ones to post. But anyway, so in my last video, I talked about my first doctor or first practice, not my doctor, but someone in her practice diagnosed me with having a blighted ovum. And even to the point where they had scheduled me for a DNC because they were saying that, there is no baby, or there's no signs of a zygote, of a embryo, or anything like that. In spite of my hormone levels being fantastic, they even told me that my hormone levels were great. And I know that this can happen. I was told that, there are women that have experienced, this, and that it's common to misdiagnose. I think what my issue was, though, is they scheduled the DNC without wanting to just wait until I at least reached about 8 weeks. Or they could have said, well, if this is the case, then your body will just go ahead and dispel any tissue, like it had just happened naturally. But then she gave me I had all these fears that I would get an infection since my body isn't recognizing that I'm no longer pregnant, and that if there's tissue left in my body, that I would get an infection. So they made some very good reasons of why I needed to get this DNC. So anyway, after being diagnosed with a blighted ovum and being scheduled for a DNC, I went in to the doctor's office for my last ultrasound to confirm the blighted ovum. And all of a sudden there was a fetal heart rate of 134. And they were, and the baby was there. So they thought that I was. So then she said that I looks like I'm a week behind. So when they diagnosed me with a blighted ovum, she was saying that I was about 6 weeks. Did she say that? No. She said that I was about maybe 5 weeks. And at 5 weeks, you're supposed to see something, an egg, a yolk sac, a fetal pole, all those things you're supposed to see. But they weren't seeing anything. So, and then she said I was measuring it at about 5 weeks at the time. And then when they did find the baby, she said that I was measuring at 6 weeks, and this was maybe a week and a half later So I should have been about almost 7 weeks, or between 7 and 8 weeks when I went back. And then I forgot my train of thought. My brain is mush. I've been working all day. But then once they said that I was 6 weeks, then I figured. Then she said, okay, well, you're a week behind, and so you're still not out of the woods, because this could mean that the baby isn't developing like it should be developing. So it was just, after having all of that emotion and stress and anxiety build up inside me, that I wasn't carrying anything. Now it's worrying about, is the baby, we found the baby, there's a heart rate. Now we have to worry about whether or not if it's developing the way that it should. So it was like just one emotional roller coaster after another. So, and then she's like, well, you know what, come back when you're 12 weeks and we can do another ultrasound to make sure the baby is growing the way that it should. To be honest with you, I think that they completely screwed up the first time. I think that I was pretty much right on track, and they just couldn't find the baby, and they didn't want to tell me to just wait a few more, maybe a week or two to come back and do another ultrasound. They didn't say that to me. They simply said that I had a blighted ovum with that one ultrasound. And my eye is twitching because the more I think about it, the more I get upset. So in any case, my fiance had gotten a referral from, he has dreads, so he has a hairstylist. So he received a referral from his hairstylist saying, hey, look, you might want to go to this place. They have great reviews. I had my baby there, and then also because I wanted to do a natural birth, they have a birthing center in the hospital. And so the compromise, because I'm older, is that if I'm going to do a natural birth, that I would do the natural birth at a birthing center, which is inside of a hospital. So if anything goes wrong, then I have access to doctors. So made the appointment to go to the birthing center. So I'm in St. Louis, and so the birthing center is within Mercy Hospital. And went there, and everyone just was so nice, and everything was just so open and free, and like there was no restrictions or anything. They have you weigh yourself, which is fine. I mean, I definitely, because I don't want to lie to the nurse. I mean, if I'm whatever I am, that I'll just tell you. But it's just so much easier for them to do it than me to do it. But anyway, so everything is just free and open, and so I was loving the vibe. Got to talk with a midwife, and she was just really, really great. Just the way that she talked was so positive. But I was just so anxious and nervous. I was so anxious and nervous because this was the time that she would now do an ultrasound, and then she would tell me basically whether or not if there's a baby. But the thing is that I never told her, or I never told them that I had an issue with my first practice, because I didn't want them to think that there would be that there's going to be a problem then with my with this with this baby. But as soon as she laid me down on the table, and at this time I'm thinking I am 10 weeks. I tell them, yes, I'm about 10 weeks, and she said, well, based on your last menstrual cycle, this is showing that you are just about a little over 11 weeks. And I'm like, well, I mean, and then I had to tell her that, my last practice said that I was scheduled and that I am measuring a week behind. And so she said, okay, well, let's just look. So she goes, and their ultrasound is ancient. Like it's not very, they're midwives. So their equipment is not, as, I guess, up to technology. It's not up to par like other uh, hospitals technology, because like I said, this is a birthing center, so they don't have a lot of technology to do. This is natural birth. There's just maybe a tub, some things to swing off of, some balls. You're gonna have your baby pretty much while standing, bent over, whatever. There's nothing to restrict you from having a baby, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So, but all of this anxiety was built up inside of me because I thought that she was going to tell me something that I did not want to hear. And within 5 seconds of her putting the the monitor on my stomach, on my abdomen, the baby just popped right up, and she said, "Oh, there's your baby." And I mean, I lie to you not. I mean, this child was moving all around, just doing all types of things. So I got some pictures, and I'm not sure if you can see. There is a baby in there. So each time she was putting the monitor, what do you want to call it, on my abdomen, the baby was just jumping all around. He or she was jumping all around. I mean, doing some wild movements. And I still couldn't relax though. Like I was still in this emotional stage, and I just wasn't. I was excited. I was excited to see my baby, but I was still in this mindset of there's going to be an issue. So as you know, in the birthing center, you can't be high strung. You have to relax. No high blood pressure whatsoever, and I don't suffer from high blood pressure. However, that particular day, my blood pressure was over 140. And so she took it 3 times, and she's like, "Are you okay? Are you relaxed?" And she said, "Maybe let's just take it. Let's just take it when when you're relaxed." But I simply couldn't relax, and so I'm like this close with being kicked out of the birthing center because of my pressure. I have 2 weeks to get my pressure under control before I have to see an obstetrician. But not that I can't still have a vaginal birth. I just have to probably be closely watched. But I think that, to be honest with you, my reasons of having a high blood pressure on that day is because I was just so anxious about there's going to be something wrong. This is how horrible and traumatic the first practice have gotten me. And so whether or not, I can birth in the birthing center or not, the decision to move my practice away from my first practice was a no-brainer. I think that my doctor would have been fantastic. It's her practice that, I don't know, they just weren't. It seems like they just were not sensitive Or, I can't even imagine how many other patients they've seen who they diagnosed with a blighted ovum and really didn't have one. And that's a problem. That's a problem for me. Especially when I've been trying since, the end of 2018 to get pregnant. And if anything were to happen, if my baby was murdered because of their mistake, oh my God, I'm not sure what I would have done. It's just that would be a hard pill to swallow. I am up in age. I'm 38 years old. And I'm not saying that that's an old age, but to be honest, it's harder. It's hard to have, children when you're, it doesn't matter how old you are. It really doesn't matter. It depends on, your situation, to be honest with you. So age, I can't say has anything to do with it. However, age does play a factor, along with some other issues. But anyway, so another thing, they measured me and I thought that I was 10 weeks 2 days ago. She measured me and she's like, oh, you're like 11 weeks. You're like average 11 weeks, 3-4 days. So I just can't, it's just unforgivable. I think that they tried to make it seem like I was earlier than what I was because they weren't able to see it. And lied to me probably and said, hey, this is what you are. And you're, this is the reason why we didn't see it because you were too early. And then, I go see the midwife and they're saying, oh no, you're about 11 weeks, some odd days. I'm almost 12 weeks. So, anyway, sorry, my neck is killing me. I want to be able to let people know that if you, for some reason, have been diagnosed with a blighted ovum, I would definitely, and if you're not feeling, if you still feel pregnant and your hormones are good, I would get a second opinion, like quick, fast, in a hurry. It's unnecessary to, it's unnecessary to diagnose. It's unfair to diagnose, someone with a blighted ovum, before knowing all the facts, if that makes sense. Do further testing. Give her a week or so before scheduling a D&C. So. That's my update. I am still pregnant with a baby inside. It's healthy. I don't know if we're gonna find out what the sex is. I think my midwife suggested that if I find out what the sex is, to not use the genetic testing to do that, because that's not what it's for. The testing is to determine Down syndrome. So, they're very traditional and old fashioned, and that's what I like. My hope is, and my prayer is at this point, that in 2 weeks when I go back to them, they will keep me in their care if I can get my blood pressure down. They have put me on baby aspirin that I plan to take for just 2 weeks. After that, I think I'll be fine not taking it unless it's recommended. I planned on not taking any type of medication during my pregnancy. However, if this is going to help with blood flow, for me and for my baby, then I'll do that. But at this point in time, in the next 2 weeks, my goal is to keep my, stop being so high strung, believe that my baby is fine and well. And I have started to now exercise, because I didn't do it at all the first 10 weeks, or first, I should say 11 weeks, because I was told not to. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of the, rest of the week. In 2 weeks, I'll check back with you all to tell you whether or not if I get to stay in the birthing center or if I have to move on to an obstetrician. Either way, it's all good. I just want my baby and myself to be safe, and I hope that you guys are safe. If you're pregnant, congratulations. And if you are trying to get pregnant, keep your head up, and I'm praying with you. And if I can give you any tips, I did the simple things, nothing, I don't think I did anything special, probably not no more than what you're probably doing right now. But of course, if you need the support, and you just want to know, the things that I've done, please reach out to me, and I'll be happy to talk with you and chat with you. Okay, you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Have a great day.